need of human rights impact assessments prior to the deployment of artificial intelligence-driven surveillance system. State must, state must ensure that individuals have access to remedies where AI artificially Pakistan calls for enhanced international cooperation, technical assistance and capability building to support developing countries in building ethical human rights compliant and artificial intelligence environment. Thank you.
Delegates, before we move on to the next speaker, in case you're not aware, you can pass checks. Alright? Are you aware? Yes? And if you wanted to be recognized by the ED, please put on the check via ED. Otherwise, ready from country name to country name. And in case you wanted to go via ED, put via ED. Delegate of Czechia, you have been recognized. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Czech Republic wishes to clarify that it is not opposed to technological process, but firmly supports the responsible and regulated use of artificial intelligence. Czechia believes that innovation, without safeguards, does not strengthen society, but instead exposes individuals to serious human rights risks. The delegation of Czech Republic supports finding regulatory frameworks governing the use, particularly where such technologies are deployed by public authorities. Human oversight must remain central to all high-risk AI systems, and governance must be firmly grounded in international human rights law. At the same time, Czechia opposes mass surveillance practices that lack clear legal basis and independent oversight. The delegation also rejects the misuse of national security justifications to bypass fundamental rights, as well as voluntary-only frameworks that fail to ensure accountability. The Czech Republic looks forward to working with like-minded delegations to advance rights-first, transparent, and accountable AI governance that protects both security and human dignity. Thank you. I will yield to the chair. Thank you, delegate. You have 20 seconds remaining. How would you like to lead your attention? Thank you, delegate. Delegate of Belgium, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. Good morning. The delegation of Belgium acknowledges the transformative role that artificial intelligence plays in modern government, innovation and public services. However, Belgium firmly believes that technological advancement must never come at a cost of fundamental human rights. Mass surveillance and unregulated AI system pose serious threat to the right to privacy, freedom of expression and equality. As enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as a member of the European Union, Belgium strongly supports transparent, accountable and human-centric AI governance, alongside strict data protection measures. The delegation calls for international cooperation to establish ethical standards, legal oversight mechanisms, and safeguards against misuse, ensuring that artificial intelligence serves humanity rather than undermines it. Belgium look forward to constructive dialogue with the Council. Thank you.
Delegate, you have 35 seconds, 35 seconds remaining. How would you like to leave your time? Remind you again, 3 types of fees, lead to the chair, lead to the points of information, which means other delegates can ask questions, and third, lead to another delegate in case you've already decided. Delegate of China, you have the floor.
Dajahao. Warm greetings to the Honorable Chair and respected delegates. Artificial intelligence and mass surveillance are tools, not arbiters of human rights. Their impact depends on the wisdom and responsibility of those who govern them. China holds that human rights, national security are mutually reinforcing, not contradictory. Privacy, data protection, and personal dignity can only be guaranteed within a framework of lawful governance, social stability, and accountability. Unregulated technology threatens both individual rights and societal measured ensuring that technologies with social impact and government explainable and aligned with the public interest. And as stands, they need to collaborate with all the delegation to ensure that artificial intelligence and surveillance technologies advance social development, protect citizens, and uphold human rights. Thank you.
Delegates, you have 15 seconds remaining. How would you like to lead your time?
You
Delegate of 2A, you have to close.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates. Delegation of web recognizes artificial intelligence and mass intelligence have the potential to strengthen national security, improve public governance, and support public safety. At the same time, these technologies also raise serious human rights concerns, particularly with respect to privacy, discrimination, and the freedom of Kuwait believes that the question before this committee is not whether AI should be used, but how it should be governed responsibly. Our approach seeks to balance security rights, the protection of fundamental rights, and legal safeguards, transparency, independent oversight, and accountability mechanisms in the deployment of AI-based systems. Kuwait supports international cooperation, capacity building for developing states, ethical standards for surveillance technologies, and periodic audits to prevent misuse and ensure professional application of security measures. By strengthening these safeguards, Kuwait believes that technological progress can coexist with and ultimately reinforce human dignity and public rights. The delegation of Kuwait would like to yield the remaining time.
Thank you, delegate. The delegate of Egypt, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Arab Republic of Egypt acknowledges the transformative potential of artificial intelligence and advanced surveillance technologies in promoting national security, economic development, and public welfare. However, Egypt firmly believes that such technological progress must be balanced with fundamental principles of human dignity, sovereignty, and the rule of law as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Egypt recognizes that AI-driven systems, when left unregulated, can lead to violation of the right to privacy, freedom of expression, and equality before the law, particularly in developing nations where digital infrastructure and safeguards may still be evolving. At the same time, we emphasize that the states face legitimate security challenges, including terrorism, cybercrime, and misinformation, which necessitate responsibility and lawful surveillance measures. The delegation of Egypt strongly supports a state-centric and context-sensitive approach to the AI governance, respecting national sovereignty and equaling socio-political realities. Furthermore, Egypt urges this Council to prevent the misuse of human rights discourse as a tool for the political interference, while instead fostering constructive dialogue, transparency, and accountability. In conclusion, Egypt stands committed to collaborating. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Delegate of Mexico, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, delegation of Mexico thanks the Chair for allowing us to take the floor. Mexico recognizes the crucial role of the Human Rights Council in addressing emerging challenges posed by technology, surveillance, and governance. Mexico believes that the protection of human rights must guide every policy, technology, and governance framework. International law, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, provides clear obligations for states to safeguard privacy, equality, and freedom of expression. Domestically, the Mexican Constitution, Article 1, 6, and 16, guarantees equality, transparency, privacy, and lawful governance. Mexico supports rights-based, inclusive, and equitable frameworks for AI deployment. We encourage mandatory human rights impact assessments before implementing AI systems, independent oversight and monitoring to ensure compliance with international and domestic law. capacity building and standardized trainings for public authorities, deploying AI and surveillance technologies. Honorable Chair, the delegation of Mexico reaffirms its commitment to upholding human rights, promoting transparency, and protecting the most vulnerable members of society. Mexico looks forward to working with all the member states to develop ethical, accountable, and inclusive approaches to emerging challenges. Mexico stands ready to cooperate constructively in this council to ensure that technology serves humanity, not the. Thank you. I yield the time.
Delegates, before we move on to the next speaker, we are looking for points or motions on the floor. No points, no motions? Yes, Delegate of Czechia, open the next.
I would like to raise a point of order. Czechia was not called out during initial phone call.
No, it was called. You told present.
I said present in voting.
Yes, 1 second.
Yeah, nobody.
Oh no, it was called out, but it was not absent. Okay,
Present in voting. Czechia would like to be present.
thank you. Right. Any other points or motions on the floor? None for mods, unmods. So we want to continue with the GSL? Delegate of Mauritius, you have the floor for the next 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, delegation of Mauritius thanks Secretariat for convening this important session. The Republic of Mauritius recognizes the immense potential of artificial intelligence in governance, development, and national security. However, the increasing reliance on AI-driven surveillance raises serious concerns regarding protection of human fundamental rights, which can be violated via mass surveillance for state security purposes. Mauritius firmly believes that any deployment of AI in surveillance must adhere to principles of legality, ensuring transparency, accountability, and respect for fundamental human rights and right to privacy. As a developing nation, Mauritius emphasizes the importance of international cooperation, capacity building, and UN-led frameworks to ensure AI governance remains ethical and human-centric. The delegate of Mauritius gives the floor to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Japan, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, artificial intelligence has the power to transform societies for the better, whether it's in healthcare, education, governance, and so much more. However, at the same time, while used in mass surveillance, AI can threaten basic human rights such as freedom of speech and expression, right to privacy, and so on. As a technologically advanced nation, Japan supports principles of human-centric AI, focusing on human dignity, diversity, inclusion, and sustainability. Through initiatives like the Hiroshima AI process, Japan is committed to building a safe AI that protects human rights and dignity. On the domestic front, we've adopted policies like the human-centric AI principles in 2019, which is guided by principles ensuring human dignity, rights, privacy, security, and standards, than strict regulation aiming for an AI-ready security. In 2023, the Hiroshima AI process established the first global policy framework for a safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. Japan is ready and welcome to collaborate with member states in the UNHRC to ensuring advanced, safe, and human-centered AI while prioritizing technological innovation and progress. By building on existing frameworks like the Hiroshima AI process and OECD principles, we can ensure AI technologies uphold human rights for the greater good of society.
Delegate, you have 10 seconds remaining.
Honorable Chair, I would like to pass it on to another delegate, to the delegate.
Which delegate would you like to?
The next delegate, who's there, Indonesia.
No, delegate, that's not how it works. Was the delegate of Indonesia informed on a private basis? No. Okay, we'll just move on to the next speaker. Yes?
The delegate of India would like to take the remaining time.
Okay. You have the floor for the next? How many seconds? 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Immediately.
But it's not my chance.
No. So, alien to the delegate means you have to speak immediately. That's why you're informed prior.
Okay, so we have 90 plus the remaining time.
No, you have to use 10 seconds now. It's okay? Alright, delegate of Indonesia, you have the floor.
Honorable chairs and esteemed delegates, the Republic of Indonesia recognizes the growing influence of artificial intelligence in public administration and security practices across the world. While such technologies offer opportunities for efficiency and innovation, Indonesia also acknowledges the need for careful consideration of their implications for human rights. The expanded use of AI-enabled surveillance systems raises concerns related to the right to privacy, data protection, and potential chilling effects on freedom of expression. These concerns become particularly significant in situations where transparency, oversight, and accountability mechanisms remain insufficient, including in contexts involving private and corporate actors engaged in data collection and analysis. Indonesia believes that the promotion and protection of human rights must remain central to any discussion on artificial intelligence. In this regard, Indonesia emphasizes that AI-based surveillance measures should be guided by the principles of legality, necessity, proportionality, and non-discrimination, as reflected in international human rights instruments. Accordingly, Indonesia supports the strengthening of national regulatory frameworks, the advancement of responsible data governance, and enhanced international cooperation and capacity building, particularly for developing countries undergoing rapid digital transformation. The delegation of Indonesia looks forward to engaging constructively with our delegates.
Thank you, delegate.
Delegates may looking for points or motions on the floor, specifically motions. Yes, delegate of. Sorry, UK, yes.
Honorable Chair, the delegation of UK would like to raise a motion for moderated caucus on the topic AI surveillance and the right to privacy and data protection in the AI-driven digital environment with special emphasis on children and vulnerable groups with a total time of 20 minutes and 60 seconds per speaker.
Any other motions? Delegates, you can even read motions for unmods. You can take 5 minutes, discuss, lobby. Yes, delegate?
Delegate of Kuwait motions for a moderated focus on balancing national security with human rights obligation. 20 minutes with
Delegate, can you repeat that topic once again?
balancing national security with human rights obligation.
Balancing
National security with human rights obligation.
with human rights obligation.
For 20 minutes, 60 seconds per speaker.
Delegate of Czechia, you can recognize.
The delegate of Czechia would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and enter into a moderated caucus on the right to privacy and data protection with particular emphasis on women and children for a total duration of 20 minutes with each speaker receiving 120 seconds.
Slovenia.
The delegate of Slovenia would like to propose to end the current PSL and present a moderated caucus topic on human rights impact assessments prior to deployment of AI models with a total time of 20 minutes and 60 seconds per speaker.
Delegates, are you aware of all the topics that have been told for mods?
Yes.
Alright. So on the basis of disruption, we'll first vote on the mod by delegate of Czechia. Can you repeat the topic once again? We won't be taking any more. Okay, is that a point?
Yes.
One second. Yes, delegate, please. What point you raise?
It's the same topic which I have raised.
Okay.
The timing is different. I raise it for a different amount of time given to each speaker.
110 seconds.
Yes.
And that's 60 seconds. So we'll then vote on the
Topic first and then the timing.
yes.
delegates, the topics are first, please repeat the topic. Please pay attention.
The right to privacy and data protection.
With particular emphasis on women and children.
Next was the moderated topic by Kuwait, balancing national security with human rights obligations. Firstly, we'll vote this because it's more disruptive. So, delegates for this motion.
Please raise your placards.
Delegates, please pay attention. We are voting for this moderated topic. Okay? Delegates for the motion, please raise your placard. The topic is right to privacy with focus on women and children. It is. Next, we are voting on the moderated caucus by Delegate of Kuwait, balancing national security with human rights obligations for a total time of 20 minutes, with each speaker getting 60 seconds. Please raise your placards if you are for the motion. It fails, delegates. Those against this motion? Delegates, everyone has to vote. Okay? I think some of you are not voting.
Delegates, the simple majority is 23. Pass the motion.
So please vote for it.
Either you are against it or you're for it.
Delegates, Slovenia can repeat your mod topic. We are voting on this mod topic now. Please pay attention. And everyone, please vote either for or against. Otherwise, we will be reverting back to GSLs or looking for more motions. If you want to take an unmod, please raise a motion. Yeah.
The topic proposed by the delegation of Slovenia was human rights impact assessment prior to deploying AI models.
Okay, delegates for the motion. Clearly fails. Okay, we're looking for more motions or points on the floor. Delegate of Germany, you will be recognized.
Delegate of Germany would like to start a moderated caucus on the topic transparency and explainability in government use of AI for 20 minutes and each speaker getting 1.5 minutes.
90 seconds.
Yes.
Wait 1 second. Delegate of France followed by Japan. Okay? Delegate of France.
The delegate of France would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and move on to an unmoderated caucus for 10 minutes.
Delegate of Japan, have it.
Honorable Chair, the delegate of Japan would like to raise a motion for a moderated caucus on the topic developing countries' perspectives on AI governance and regulation, with each speaker getting 1.5 minutes.
Total time?
With each speaker getting 1.5.
No, total time. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
20 minutes.
With each speaker getting?
1.5 minutes.
Alright, thank you, Delegate. Based on the order of disruption, we'll be voting on the motion raised by Delegate of France, which is for an unmod 10 minutes. All the delegates for the motion, please raise your placards.
Can you repeat the topic?
No, it's an unmod for 10 minutes. Okay? Yes, this passes. Yours can be with us.
Thank you, delegates.
You have your unmod starts now for the next 10 minutes.
You can move freely.
from your seats form.
Delegates, we encourage all of you to raise from your seats and participate in the discussion.
an extension code of it, anything as such, you can ask right now.
Delegates, you can use your internet during the unwatched and breaks.
Delegates,
Delegates, please stand out.
Delegates, please settle down. Delegates will be reverting back to the GSL, but before that, those who wish to be added to the list, please raise your patas. Those who haven't spoken yet. GSL.
Delegate of Bangladesh, you have been recognized. Delegate of Cuba, you have been recognized. Delegate of Albania, you have been recognized. Okay, delegate of Democratic Republic of Congo, you have been recognized.
Delegate of Brazil, you will be recognized.
Delegate of Delhi, you have been recognized. Delegate of Italy, you have been recognized. Delegate of UK, you have been recognized. Thank you, delegates.
Delegate of Netherlands, you have been floor for the next 90 seconds.
Good morning to the honorable chairs and distinguished delegates. The Kingdom of Netherlands recognizes the potential benefits of artificial intelligence in promoting security and efficiency. However, the delegation emphasizes that AI surveillance must respect international human rights standards of the UN. The Netherlands maintains that any implementation of AI technology must ensure transparency, proportionality, and accountability to prevent violation of civil liberties. And under the strong ethics, the Netherlands advocates for inclusive and human-centered global AI governance that involves all countries, including developing nations, to ensure AI is a force of sustainable development and shared prosperity, rather than deepening inequalities. It also promotes mandatory human rights, impact assessment, or in short, HRIA for AI, especially after the child care benefits scandal, in short, SYR case, making it a legal requirement for public bodies to use tools like the fundamental rights of and algorithms, impact assessment, or in short, FRAIA, before deploying algorithms in high-risk areas, aiming for transparency and preventing algorithm discrimination. And I would like to give the floor to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. Delegate of Kenya, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the delegation of Kenya is honored to address this assembly on the critical agenda of artificial intelligence and global impact. AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, education, agriculture, and governance. Yet it also brings ethical dilemmas, privacy concerns, and risk of misuse that affect every nation. Kenya recognizes that technology must serve humanity, not replace it. We advocate for responsible AI development guided by transparency, inclusivity, and respect for human rights. Nations must work together to ensure AI reduces inequality, prevents exploitation, and promotes sustainability development rather than creating new divides. first, regulations, ethical standards, and collaborative frameworks to mitigate this risk. Data stands ready to cooperate with member states, share insights, and lead in initiatives that harness AI for social good, innovations, and inclusive growth while safeguarding the rights and dignity for all citizens. Let us ensure that AI becomes a tool for progress, peace, and prosperity, not a source of harm. Thank you. Yes, Delegate.
Chair, the delegate of China a motion on moderated caucus for 15 minutes.
Just 1 second. We're not looking for motions yet. We'll let you know. Okay? Okay.
Thank you, delegate. You have 7 seconds remaining. How would you like to?
I will yield to the chair.
Okay. Delegate of India, you have the floor for the next 20 seconds.
Thank you so much, Chair. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates. I'd like to begin with a Sanskrit saying that guides our approach. Dharma Rakshita Rakshita, which translates to Dharma protects those who hold it. This reminds us that law, ethics, and responsibility must guide the deployment of AI and surveillance through technologies worldwide. Throughout history, we see transformative technologies were often feared. The internet, for example, was once considered dangerous and uncontrollable, but yet, with strong frameworks, responsible use, and governance, it has become an indispensable part of our daily life. Similarly, AI, though controversial today, can be harnessed responsibility to benefit humanity, provided it serves the people and not vice versa. Therefore, India knows that international human rights law does not prohibit surveillance itself. Instruments such as the ICCPR permit restriction on certain rights when measures are lawful, necessary, and proportionate to protect national security. In India, the right to privacy is a constitutional guaranteed fundamental right as upheld by the landmark Supreme Court judgment in case Puttaswamy versus the Union of India. Moreover, responsible AI governance contributes directly to the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which talks about peace, justice, and strong institution, ensuring accountable institution, access to justice, and the protection of fundamental rights. Thank you, and I'd like to yield my remaining time to the chair.
Delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of UK, followed by delegate of China. You have been recognized.
Honorable Chair, the delegation of UK would like to raise a motion for a moderated caucus on the topic AI surveillance and the right to privacy and data protection in AI-driven digital environment with special emphasis on children and vulnerable groups with a total time of 20 minutes and 60 seconds per speaker.
Delegate of China.
Honorable Chair, the delegation of China wants to raise a motion on moderated caucus balancing national security imperatives with human rights obligation for a total of 15 minutes and 60 seconds for each delegate.
We will be first voting upon the motion raised by delegate of UK. All the delegates for the motion, please raise your placards. Please raise it high. This motion clearly passes. All the delegates. All the delegates wishing to speak for this moderated caucus, please raise your placard. Delegate of UK, you have been recognized. Mauritius. Let me please show your placard properly. Egypt. France. Czechia. Albania. Bangladesh, India, Belgium, Italy, Japan,
Congo, Bulgaria. Bulgaria. Iceland. You have been recognized.
Dominic Republic. Dominic Republic.
Dominic Republic. You have been recognized.
Malawi.
Malawi. You have been recognized. Cuba.
And delegate of Indonesia. We need two more speakers. Kenya. One more. Kuwait. UK, you have
Delegates, you have any points?
What is parliamentary inquiry? What is the individual speaker's time?
60 seconds.
Yes, delegate.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Could you please repeat the topic stated by the
Yes, delegate, can you repeat the topic for everyone else?
Kindly repeat it
Slowly.
Yes. AI surveillance and the right to privacy and data protection in AI-driven digital environment with special emphasis on children and vulnerable groups.
Is that clear?
Delegates, as the total, each speaker time is 60 seconds. So we will be hitting the travel at 30 seconds as a reminder for the remaining. Yes, delegate of Germany.
A point of parliamentary inquiry. Is there any possibility that we can raise a motion while the moderated caucus is happening?
No, once it's you can only raise two types of points during mods and unmods. That is parliamentary inquiry and personal privilege. Yes, delegate.
A point of personal privilege. Can the list be written on board?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
I'll call out the first 5 names so that you are aware. Okay? First UK, followed by Mauritius, third Egypt, fourth France, fifth India. Alright? Alright. Delegate of UK, you have the floor for the next 60 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, now pretending that mass surveillance is protection. Across the world, under the banner of artificial intelligence, which is AI, governments are collecting faces, voices, behaviors, and emotions. And the first victims are children and vulnerable communities. This is not innovation, this is power without restraint. When facial recognition systems are placed in schools, transport hubs, or digital platforms, children are transformed from right holders into permanent suspects. When a child's face becomes a data point, human rights have already failed. Governments that track children in classrooms, public spaces, and online platforms are not protecting them. They are conditioning an entire generation to accept the loss of privacy as normal. If we fail to safeguard children's privacy now, we are normalizing surveillance at the very start of civic life. Some states here argue national security, but let us be honest, security that requires monitoring children is not security, this is fear. Thank you.
Delegate of Mauritius, you have the floor for the next 60 seconds.
The delegation of Mauritius firmly upholds the right to privacy and data protection as fundamental human rights in AI-driven digital environments. As artificial intelligence increasingly shapes decision-making, surveillance, and access to services, the protection of personal data becomes essential to preserving human dignity. Mauritius places special emphasis on children and vulnerable groups, as well as marginalized communities who are often most exposed to the vulnerable exploitation, who are providing an intrusive surveillance have the least capacity to protect themselves. In digital spaces, children's data can follow them for life, affecting their safety, opportunities, and autonomy. Therefore, Mauritius supports strong data protection frameworks based on informed consent and purpose limitation and transparency.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, Egypt recognizes the importance of protecting individual privacy and data in AI-driven environment. Is the need for robust data protection frameworks that prioritize transparency, accountability, and user content. Regarding children and vulnerable groups, Egypt stresses the importance of tailored protections. We advocate for age-appropriate design, parental consent, and enhanced security measures to safeguard minors' data. To achieve this, Egypt proposes implementing data minimization principles, ensuring algorithmic transparency and explainability, establishing accountability mechanisms for data misuse, provide for the vulnerable groups. Let's work together to create a safe rights and promote trust in AI technologies. Thank you.
Children and vulnerable people need stronger protection, not weaker safeguards. Children today grow up surrounded by AI. Their data is often without clear understanding or meaningful consent. This is not harmless. It will them to exploitation, surveillance, and control long before they are able to defend their own rights. The risks are even more severe for people, for vulnerable groups living in conflict-affected regions such as Palestine and other humanitarian settings discussed in this organization. In this environment, AI-driven surveillance and data collection operate in conditions of instability and displacement where safeguards are weak or absent. Civilians, refugees, and children are reduced to data points, and misuse of information can clearly threaten safety and dignity. France supports strong UN action to raise international standards, enforce special protection for children, and prevent technology from deepening vulnerability. Technology must never exploit weakness. Thank you.
Delegate Chetia.
The right to privacy and data protection is neither gender neutral or age neutral. Women and children suffer the most when these rights are violated. UNICEF and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights have warned that children face heightened risk of profiling and data exploitation. At the same time, we are witnessing a global rise in non-consensual AI-generated sexual imagery, including fake nude images of women and children. This is not innovation, it's digital violence. The delegation of Czechia strongly condemns misuse of artificial intelligence that enables sexual exploitation or abuse of children's data. Czechia supports criminal accountability and international cooperation to combat AI-enabled abuse. We are also seeking to form a bloc of like-minded states committed to child-centered digital governance and invite interested delegations to engage with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Albania, Delegate of Germany. Yes. Yes, Delegate of Albania.
We often talk about AI as a tool for the future. But for a child anywhere in the world, AI is already deciding the reality. Every click, every like is being harvested into a digital profile that will follow the child for the rest of their life. This is not data collection. This is a test of trying future. Albania stands firm. We cannot allow algorithms to accumulate prejudice against vulnerable groups or to turn our children into data commodities. We call for humanity by design. That trust is the currency of the digital age.
Delegate of Bangladesh.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, the delegate of Bangladesh believes that the rapid growth of AI and digital technologies must not come at the cost of right to privacy, especially for children and vulnerable groups. In today's digital environment, large amount of personal data through online learning platforms, social media, biometric IDs, and surveillance tools. In Bangladesh, already many children use digital educational apps, often without consent and strong data protection. Knowledge should come first, then AI knowledge. That is what Delegate of Bangladesh believes, and this puts them at risk. Communities are also at greater risk because they may not fully understand how their data is collected or used. Thank you.
Before we move on to the next delegates, we would like to remind you that you are strictly prohibited from using the internet during the months. Thank you.
Delegate of India.
Thank you so much, Chair. Distinguished delegates, India is a country of 150 crore people, and it accepts that some of its population, such as vulnerable population, women and children, are affected by the AI-driven ecosystem. These risks are further intensified by the digital divide, where unequal access to technology, literacy, and awareness leaves certain communities disproportionately exposed to surveillance and data exploitation. And we are constantly trying to address these problems through judicial review and the legislative acts such as the IT Act of 2002 and DPDR Act of 2023. Therefore, India calls upon the developed nations and the United Nations to support capacity building, digital literacy, and rights based on AI governance so that the technological protection does not become a privilege of the technological advancement.
Delegates, to stick to the topic, it is on women and children. So, yes. Thank you.
Children are vulnerable. Okay. Tell me one more thing about the mod topic since they are pretty long. If possible, message that in the group. Okay? Once it's passed, so that we have clear idea.
Delegate of value.
Honorable delegates. Privacy protects all, but children and the vulnerable are protected first. Belgium stresses that the right to privacy and the data protection is a fundamental human right under international law, including the UN Convention on the Right of the Children, which prohibits arbitrary interference with the child's privacy. A system must respect this right and heighten safeguard for children and other vulnerable groups who are especially susceptible to data misuse and opaque algorithm decision making. Belgium supports robust privacy standards that ensure AI does not undermine autonomy, and development in digital environment.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Italy.
Honorable Chair and delegates, Italy, artificial intelligence touches almost every from the app we use to act we see and even the games our children play. But with great power comes great responsibility. The right to privacy is just not legal, but it's also a responsibility. It's even human rights. And for children and vulnerable groups, it's even more critical. They often cannot fully understand how their data is being used or the risk online. We must ensure that it protects, not exploits. That means strong data protection laws, ethical AI designs, and accountability for those who collect and use data. Every child deserves a safe digital space. Let's make sure our digital future is one where privacy is respected and safety guaranteed for each and every one in our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Japan.
Honorable Chair, Japan realizes the risks to privacy and data protection in AI-driven digital environments. We place the right to privacy at the heart of our AI policy. In our social principles of human-centric AI, we dedicate an entire section to privacy. AI using personal data or any service solutions that use AI, we ensure that they do not infringe upon a person's freedom and dignity. Principle 11 in our AI process calls for measures to manage data quality, including training data and data collection to mitigate against harmful biases. Appropriate measures could include transparency, training techniques, and fine-tuning to ensure that systems do not divulge confidential or sensitive data. Organizations commit to investing in research that supports the advanced safety, security, and addressing key risks, such as prioritizing research on upholding democratic values, respecting human rights, protecting children and vulnerable groups.
Thank you, Delegate of Congo.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the delegation of Democratic Republic of Congo supports the motion on AI surveillance and the right to privacy, particularly concerning vulnerable communities, women and children. In many African countries, including the DRC, marginalized communities face linguistic, digital and literacy barriers, making them especially vulnerable to intrusive AI surveillance and data misuse. Women and children are often the most affected, with limited capacity to understand or challenge algorithmic creations. As a colonized country which is exploited for more than two decades by Belgium, the DRC stresses that the right to privacy must be protected through strict safeguards, human rights, impact assessments, and special protections for vulnerable populations. Thank you.
Delegate of Bulgaria. From the next 60 seconds.
Fellow delegates, the Republic of Bulgaria believes that our digital future must be built on trust, not on fear. As we stand in 2026, AI is no longer a future technology. It is the architect of our children's life. Bulgaria warns that without strict rules, we are allowing a digital shadow to follow our youth from the playground to the workplace. Under Bulgarian law, we have set a clear line: no data processing for children under 14 years without direct parental consent. We call on this committee to make privacy by design the global default, ensuring that a child's data is never treated as a commodity for algorithmic profit. Furthermore, Bulgaria supports a total ban on AI that exploits human vulnerabilities, whether that is age, disability, or socio-economic status. We must not allow the black box of AI to decide who gets education or who gets a job without a human being able to explain it.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Iceland. You have been recognized.
Distinguished committee, the Iceland champions privacy for children and vulnerable groups who are facing rampant data breaches, unchecked AI profiling, predatory surveillance, exploiting minors without consent, invasive refugee tracking, and cross-border algorithmic approach. As in China's social credit overreach and US big tech holding, Iceland excels in GDPR equivalent enforcement, 100% renewable sector service, transparent blockchain, pilots protecting all citizens without invasive tracking, and world-leading data protection of authority. I would like to make a suggestion for the UN guidelines mandating AI-verified data anonymization, parent opt-ins, and blockchain anonymization. Iceland gives user.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic, you have been recognized.
Check. Check. The right to privacy demands qualified protection in AI environments, particularly
For children and vulnerable groups, a constitution and law number 1722-13 mandate heightened safeguards, including parental consent for minors and prohibition of exploitative tracking. Biometric surveillance inflicts irreversible harm. We call for specialized protocols, age-verified data handling, bans on high-risk child applications, and vulnerability assessments. UNHRC the Republic of Republic stands visibly. Thank you.
This Delegate of Malawi, you have been recognized.
The matter of fact is, our children are the first AI native generation. 70% of Malawi is under the age of 30. Our data policy is our youth policy. Malawi's digital economy strategy emphasizes privacy by design. We cannot allow children's educational and health to become a commodity for global tech giants. Protection for the vulnerable isn't just a legal obligation, it's a prerequisite for a stable democracy.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Cuba, you have the floor.
Protecting privacy for children and vulnerable groups, the Cuba AI digital world needs strong laws. AI's extensive data collection and analysis pose risks to personal data impacting privacy, freedom of expression, and personal development for all, especially children. Children, the elderly, and others face heightened risks due to less data literacy and face potential economic vulnerability and lack awareness about data practices. Parents sharing children's data, sharing, and the potential for the data exploitation by companies or state entities threatening minors' privacy rights. Insufficient data protection, freedom of information laws, and dedicated AI regulations hinders accountability, creating loopholes for misuse. Processes in data collection lacks transparency, making it hard to identify and address bias or harmful AI applications.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Indonesia, you have been recognized.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the delegation of Indonesia and discuss the heightened vulnerability of children and other at-risk groups in AI-driven digital environments. Their right to privacy requires enhanced protection. The delegation strongly emphasizes the need for a rights-based approach to AI governance. States must ensure robust data protection frameworks, child-specific privacy safeguards, and strict accountability mechanisms for public and private actors. Furthermore, AI systems must be designed in accordance with the principles of legality, necessity, proportionality, and non-discrimination. Protecting privacy in AI-driven digital environments is not merely a technological challenge, but a human rights imperative. The international community must act collectively to ensure that innovation advances without compromising the rights, safety, and dignity at those most at risk.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Kenya, you have been recognized.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, as a representative of Kenya, I highlight that AI, while transformative, poses serious threats to privacy and safety, especially for children, women, and vulnerable groups. Personal data is often collected without consent, leaving minors open to cyber exploitations, women exposed to online harassment, and marginalized communities at risk of discrimination and exclusion. In Kenya, these are not hypothetical, they affect education, health services, and social equality, creating deep social and digital divides. If I left unchecked, AI can amplify existing inequalities, harming those who need protection the most. Kenya urges the international community to establish strong AI regulations, ethical data practices, and digital safeguards that prioritize the rights and safety of our most vulnerable citizens. Let AI be a tool for inclusion, not harm. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Kuwait, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The delegation of Kuwait recognizes the sensitivity of privacy and data protection in AI-based digital environments, especially for children and vulnerable groups. The delegation of Kuwait fully agrees that children are not data points and must never be treated as such. Our position is not about reducing children to digital records. It is about protecting them from serious risks such as online exploitation, trafficking, cybercrime, and radicalization. Kuwait believes that child protection measures must be remain targeted, proportionate, and lawful with strict safeguards, limited data use, and human oversight. The objective is protection, not just surveillance, and to ensure that security measures operate with dignity, accountability, and also respect to the rights.
Thank you, Delegate. We are done with the first moderated caucus. We will be now resuming back to the GSL. Delegate of Netherlands, did you finish your speech? Delegate of North Macedonia, you have the floor for the next 30 seconds.
Honorable Chief and distinguished delegates, the Republic of North Macedonia recognizes the growing importance of artificial intelligence and surveillance technologies in ensuring public safety, economic development, and effective governance. As a developing European nation, North Macedonia uses AI as a tool that can strengthen institutions, improve public services, and enhance security when used responsibly. From our perspective, AI-powered surveillance can play a positive role in combating organized crime, terrorism, and cyber threats, challenges that make countries in the Western Balkans continue to face. These technologies can assist law enforcement in identifying risks more efficiently and protecting citizens in public spaces, especially when resources are limited. However, North Macedonia strongly emphasizes that security must not come at the expense of fundamental human rights. The misuse of AI surveillance systems may threaten privacy, freedom of expression, and democratic values. As a country aspiring to full integration into the European Union, North Macedonia aligns itself with European standards on data protection, transparency, and accountability, including respect for the rule of law. North Macedonia believes that AI and surveillance should be used as instruments for public good, not tools for control or discrimination. Through multilateral cooperation, ethical standards, and respect for human rights, the international community can ensure that AI contributes to a safer and fairer world to all. Thank you.
Delegate of Germany, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, artificial intelligence is no longer a distant innovation. It already shapes surveillance and law enforcement, public decision making across the world. While AI offers efficiency and security, its misuse poses serious risks such as privacy, equality, and accountability. Germany firmly believes that technological progress must never come at the expense of human dignity. Germany's position is reflected not only in principles but in practice. The Artificial Intelligence Act, Germany supports binding regulations that provide high-risk AI systems, restricting unacceptable surveillance practices and mandates transparency, human overseeing, and accountability. This approach recognizes that states remain fully responsible for the actions of the AI systems they deploy. Germany therefore calls upon the member states to move forward beyond the voluntary guidelines and commit to enforceable right-based AI governance. Germany stands ready to cooperate with all delegates to ensure that artificial intelligence remains human-centered, transparent, and firmly anchored in international human rights. All I would like to say to conclude this is human rights should never become a privilege. I would like to yield my time to the chair.
Delegate, you have 16 seconds remaining. We would like to take one point of information. Anyone? No delegates? No one wants to ask a question? Yes, delegate over here.
I'd like to ask a question to the delegate of UK.
Yeah, sure.
No questions.
Thank you. Delegate of Bangladesh.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Bangladesh recognizes that artificial intelligence and mass surveillance technologies are becoming important opportunities and challenges. On one hand, AI-based system has helped Bangladesh improve public safety, crime detection, and digital service delivery. For example, digital database and monitoring tools support law enforcement in tackling terrorism, cybercrime, and human trafficking. However, the delegation also acknowledges growing concerns regarding privacy, misuse of personal data, and lack of transparency. In some cases, excessive digital monitoring may create fear among journalists, political activists, minorities, and vulnerable communities, affecting freedom of expression. The absence of comprehensive data protection law and limited public oversight can increase discrimination and abuse through AI-driven profiling. This is the importance of human rights impact assessment before developing surveillance technologies, along with clear legal safeguards and independent oversight mechanisms. Bangladesh firmly believes that national security and human rights must go hand in hand. The delegation supports international cooperation, capacity building, and sharing of best practices to help developing countries use AI responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Cuba.
Honorable Chair, delegates. The Republic of Cuba approaches artificial intelligence not as a race for technical dominance, but as humanist journey towards social equality. As the world stands at the digital crossroads, Cuba is charting a sovereign path. In 2025, we launched our National AI Strategy, a policy rooted in belief that technology must serve the people, not the other way around. Our commitment is visible in our home. While global trends often see women sidelined in tech to lead our digital usage. From the creation of Cecilia, a large language model that speaks with human vocabulary, to implementation of the 2023 law of personal data protection, we are proving that even under economic hardships, ethical guardrails are negotiable. However, we must with professional honesty. The digital divide in a humanist strategy is a tragedy. Our rural communities face stark reality with connectivity rates far below the urban centers. Cuba is actively participating in UNESCO's methodology to ensure the sovereignty doesn't mean isolation. We urge the international community to support decentralized AI ecosystems. Thank you.
Point of personal privilege for personal.
Delegate of Albania, you have the floor for the next 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, the Republic of Albania recognizes the growing influence of artificial intelligence. What is honest while also acknowledging the serious human rights concerns it may create if left unabated. Albania stresses that the deployment of AI must remain proportional, subject to judicial oversight, and grounded in respect for fundamental freedoms, such as rights and freedom of expression. States must remain accountable for the actions of AI systems under the judicial jurisdiction. Thank you.
Delegate, we have 51 seconds remaining. So we'll be opening the okay, how do you want to lead it? Lead it to the chair, lead it to points of information, lead it to another delegate. But you should inform them. Father.
I'll lead it to Brazil. I'll lead it to Brazil.
No, you have to inform them before doing so. Because they have to speak for 50 seconds right now. Okay? So you want to leave it to the chair? Delegate of Congo.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Democratic Republic of Congo believes that artificial intelligence can promote human rights, but only when it is used responsibly and fairly. I repeat, when it is used responsibly and fairly. In many developing countries like the DRC, limited access to AI has created a digital divide. Their advanced technologies benefit only a few nations. If left unregulated, AI can increase discrimination, violate privacy, and enable harmful surveillance, especially against vulnerable communities. At the same time, the DRC recognizes the positive potential of AI in improving healthcare, education, early warning systems for conflict, the documenting human rights violations. Therefore, the DRC strongly supports international regulation under the United Nations to ensure transparency, accountability, and respect for human dignity, while also promoting capacity building and technology sharing with developing nations. The Democratic Republic of Congo looks forward to cooperating with all delegations to ensure that AI serves humanity and protect human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate, you have 33 seconds left.
I would like to yield the time to the chair.
Okay, since you have done that, we'd like to open the floor to POIs. Any questions? To the Delegate of Congo. Delegate of Germany, please.
I want to know what all policies that
One second, Delegate. No personal pronouns allowed, okay?
I would like to ask the President of Congo what are the policies that he is having in his country right now which talk about AI and surveillance privacy.
Can directly ask.
As of the Congo is not so developed country, it is in the process of developing country. So due to political instability, we haven't has any resolutions on it.
Delegate, no follow-ups. Is that your answer, Delegate?
Yeah, I will be answering over 10 seconds.
Yes.
As a developing country or the Congo, our first stadium was introduced in the year 2010. So you can understand how much far and how much beyond we have come in the game of development. So we haven't passed any resolutions on it.
Thank you, Delegate. We're looking for motions on the floor. Motions on the floor. Delegate of Italy, followed by Germany, France, Egypt, Czech. Egypt. All of you have been recognized, starting with Delegate of Italy.
Honorable Chair, the delegation of Italy, the delegate of Italy would like to raise a motion for moderated caucus on the topic of algorithmic bias and discrimination in AI-driven decision making. 20 minutes for 60 seconds each speaker.
Delegate of Germany.
The delegate of Germany would like to raise a moderated caucus for 20 minutes on the topic human rights impact assessment prior to deploying AI surveillance systems, giving each speaker 90 seconds.
Could you repeat the topic again, please?
Human rights impact assessment prior to deployment of AI surveillance systems.
Who is recognized after Delegate of Germany? France.
The delegate of France would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and move on to a moderated caucus on the topic balancing national security imperatives with human rights obligations for a total time of 20 minutes and individual speaker time of 60 seconds.
Yes, delegate of Japan.
Honorable Chair, the delegate of Japan would like to raise a motion for a moderated caucus on the topic developing countries' perspectives on AI governance and regulation.
Total time for
Total time 20 minutes with 60 seconds per speaker.
We will be first voting on the moderated caucus topic given by Delegate of Germany, which is for total duration 20 minutes 90 seconds. Would you like the topic to be repeated?
Human rights impact assessment prior to deployment of AI surveillance systems.
Alright, all the delegates for the motion? All the delegates against the motion? This mod fails. Next, we'll be voting on the mod topic given by delegate of Italy. 20 minutes, 60 seconds. Could you repeat the topic?
Algorithmic bias and discrimination in AI-driven decision making.
All the delegates for the topic? Yes, this mod topic passes. Delegates wishing to add their name to this list. Delegate of Czechia will be recognized. Slovenia, Netherlands, delegate, could you raise your hand properly? Huh? Pakistan, Malawi, Ghana, Chile, North Macedonia, Mexico, Italy, Egypt, Kenya, Iceland, France, Bangladesh, UK, Germany, Dominican Republic, Belgium. Delegate of Czechia, you have the floor for the next 60 seconds.
Honorable Chief, esteemed delegates, artificial intelligence is not neutral and the data clearly proves this. Findings by Amnesty International and the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights shows that facial recognition technology misidentify women and ethnic minorities at disproportionately higher rates. When such systems are used in policing, surveillance, or access to services, discrimination is not a possibility, it is a consequence. Czechia stresses that these outcomes directly violate the right to equality and the principle of non-discrimination. The fact that such harm may be unintentional does not absolve states of responsibility. Algorithms do not bear legal obligations, governments do. Czechia affirms that when AI violates human rights, accountability remains with the state without exception. Thank you. I would like to yield to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Slovenia. Yes, Delegate. Good.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, we must face an uncomfortable truth. Artificial intelligence is not at all neutral. It is a mirror. It reflects the biases of its creator and the historical prejudice buried in its training data. We have seen facial recognition systems that misidentify women of color at rates nearly 30% higher than white men. We have seen hiring algorithms that downgrade resumes containing the words women's or maternity. These are not glitches. They are automated violations of Article 2 of the UDHR. As noted in the 2023 OHCR study of the right to privacy, automated bias amplifies it, turning historical prejudice into permanent administrative barriers.
Slovenia calls for mandatory bias audits prior to deployment. Through our work at ICREI, we are developing open source tools to detect discriminating patterns in data sets before they are fed into government systems. We urge this council to declare that an algorithm that discriminates is as illegal as a human who discriminates. Let us regulate the code, not just the consequences. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Netherlands.
Hello. Honorable chairs and distinguished delegates. On the topic of algorithmic bias and discrimination in AI-driven decision making, the Netherlands has a strong critical on this topic because it was driven by our past scandals like the childhood benefits fraud, emphasizing a human-centered approach, fundamental rights, non-discrimination and privacy, transparency, accountability and humans oversight, with watchdogs actively flag based AI, particularly in public sector applications demanding blind assessment, explainability and challenge mechanisms to ensure fairness, aligned with broader EU regulations like the Act. So these are the key aspects of our stance. Number one, human-centered AI, which relates to starting point human rights. We should promote the human rights. The AI should enhance the human rights for the decade. Thank you. I would like to give it to the chair.
Don't worry, delegates, there are no yields in months.
Okay.
Delegate of Gambia.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, when bias is coded into algorithms, discrimination no longer wears a uniform. It runs silently in software. Algorithmic bias in AI-driven decision making threatens equality and non-discrimination, particularly in societies with limited data. In the developing countries like Gambia, AI systems trained on foreign or biased data sets can reinforce racial, ethnic, gender, and social economic discrimination. These opaque systems often lack accountability, denying the individual's right to education and remedy. Gambia urges the adoption of mandatory bias audits and human rights impact assessments for all high-risk AI systems. Thank you. I would like to yield my time to Chair.
Delegates, there are no yields in months, okay? Try to speak for the whole duration, okay? 60 seconds. Make use of every second. Delegate of Pakistan. Delegate of Mauritius. Sorry, delegate, 1 second. Yes.
Point of personal privilege.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Pakistan stresses that algorithmic bias and AI-driven decision making poses a serious threat to equality, non-discrimination, and human dignity. Artificial systems trained on incomplete and unbiased data sets risk inappropriate and impacting marginalized and vulnerable communities, including minorities, immigrants, and low-income populations. Pakistan emphasizes the need for mandatory human rights impact assessment, regular algorithmic audits, and human oversight in all the artificial intelligence systems used by public authorities. States must ensure all the artificial intelligence support systems must be fair and inclusive governance should be taken, rather than reinforcing existing inequalities. Pakistan further calls for international cooperation and capacity building to assist developing countries in identifying, mitigating, and respecting national context and legal frameworks. Thank you.
Delegates, we would like to remind you that using of internet is strictly prohibited. The volunteers are around to keep a check on it and they are reporting it back.
Yes, we have noticed a few delegates who are using internet. Internet is allowed when it's an unmod and when you're in break, okay? Not during session. Yes? Point of personal privilege. Okay. Delegate of Malawi.
Thank you, Chair. In an era of automated logic,
We must ensure that code does not carry the ghost of our past prejudice. Malawi is deeply concerned that AI systems used across Africa are often trained on data sets from global norm. These Western-centric models do not understand our languages, our cultures, or our social realities. Malawi calls for the creation of an international algorithmic audit standard. We must move from blind trust to verified equality. We urge member states to support the development of sovereign data sets in the global south, ensuring that AI of tomorrow speaks the language of many, not just a few. Thank you.
Delegate of Ghana.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, over half of countries analyzed are using some form of AI technology for public surveillance. Official research found racial recognition error rates for black and Asian people are 100 times higher than for white individuals, and women have 2 times higher misidentification rates than men. Ghana believes that code is not neutral. Algorithms inherit the world's old cruelties and multiply them at the speed of light. But we can break this cycle. We can teach machines new mathematics, the mathematics of fairness, the calculus of justice. Let us write equations where every face counts, every voice registers, and every person equals 1. Ghana demands training data sets upon global south data, especially of Africa. Penalties for discriminatory AI should be heavy and must. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of China.
Point of personal.
Good. Are the other delegates back? Yes, Delegate.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, the delegation of Chile notes that AI systems are not neutral, as they are on large data sets that often reflect existing social and economic inequalities. When such systems are used in areas such as policy, welfare, or employment, without proper checks, they can result in discriminatory outcomes, particularly for vulnerable and marginalized communities. Chile firmly takes its stance on addressing algorithmic bias and discrimination in AI-driven decision making through its draft AI law and national AI policy, and constitutes its quality protection under Article 19, mandating bias audits and transparency to prevent harm to vulnerable communities. Chile emphasizes that to uphold equality before the law and human dignity, AI-driven decisions must include measures to identify bias, ensure transparency, and establish clear accountability so the technology does not reinforce existing inequalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we are still being told that there are delegates who are using the internet. We'll have to take a strict action and ask you to shut all your electronics. This is the last warning, delegates.
I know most of your speeches are on your devices, so please do not let it, don't take advantage of the situation, because you should be having a paper that's better for us. Alright? So do not use the internet. Final warning. Delegate of North Macedonia.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, in an era where algorithms decide who gets a job, a loan, medical care, or even freedom, bias has not disappeared. It has been automated. Algorithm bias occurs when artificial intelligence systems trained on flawed or unequal data produce discriminatory outcomes. The systems do not think independently. They inherit the prejudices of the societies that create them. When biased historical data is fed into AI, discrimination is no longer an exception. It becomes a coded rule. Considering the issue is not merely a technological issue, it is a human rights crisis. AI systems increasingly influence access to education, employment, healthcare, and justice. When these systems discriminate, they reinforce global inequality, particularly harming marginalized communities in developing nations that lack regulatory safeguards. Finally, delegates, Therefore, the international community must act. We must demand transparency and explainability in AI systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Mexico, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, the delegation of Mexico recognizes that artificial intelligence is increasingly used by states to support decision making. Algorithm bias arises when AI systems are trained on data that reflects existing social inequalities or historical prejudice. As a result, automated decisions may disproportionately disadvantage individuals based on race, gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, disability, or migration background. Such outcomes directly undermine the principle of equality before the law. The delegation, therefore, calls upon member states to implement mandatory bias and human rights impact assessments, ensure the use of diverse and representative data sets, and establish independent oversight mechanism to audit AI systems used in public sector. Mexico also supports international cooperations under the United Nations framework to share best practices and develop common standards to prevent algorithm discrimination. An ethical, inclusive, and right-based approach to artificial intelligence is essential.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Italy, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Italy recognizes the incredible promise of AI, but we also see the hidden dangers. Algorithms are shaping life in ways we often cannot see, deciding who gets opportunities and who is left behind. Yet, when bias enters the code, it can reinforce inequality targeting women, minorities, and other communities. Let us be clear, bias in AI is not just a technical problem, it is a moral failure. It calls for strict transparency, accountability, and ethical AI that protects human dignity. Technology must serve justice, not inequality. The future of AI is a choice. We can ensure it upholds fairness, equality, and humanity. Italy chooses humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Egypt, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Egypt acknowledges that algorithmic bias is a real concern, especially when AI systems are trained on Western-centric or non-diverse data sets. Bias disproportionately affects developing nations, minorities, and non-English speaking countries. AI systems must reflect cultural, linguistic, and socio-economic diversity. It also calls for international standards for inclusive data sets, not unliteral tech dominance. The responsibility lies not only within the states, but also with the private tech corporations that design these systems. A complete halt would disproportionately harm developing countries that rely on AI. But the solution lies in continuous improvement, localized data sets, and ethical audits. I would emphasize on bias that bias is not a global design flaw Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Kenya, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, Kenya stands here to state one clear truth. Algorithm bias is quietly deciding who matters and who does not. AI systems are influenced credit, access, school admissions, hiring policies, public services. But these systems are trained on biased non-African data, turning technology into a tool of exclusion. In Kenya, women are denied digital loans, youth from informal settlements are flagged as high risk, and rural communities are judged. Not because of behavior, but because algorithms fail to understand our realities. Even worse, children's data is harvested early, creating digital labels that follow them for life. This is not progress. This is automated discrimination. Kenya demands transparent algorithms, inclusive data sets, and human oversight. AI must reduce inequality, not encode it. If AI is shaping our future, then justice must shape AI.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Bytes. Yes.
Honorable Chair, point of personal privilege.
Delegate of Iceland. Yes, Delegate of
Thank you, Chair. Bias isn't accidental. It's engineered into flawed training data. Facial recognition fails dark-skinned women up to 34.7% versus white or light-skinned people to 0.8% per NIST benchmarks, which is very conservative. Einstein brought predictive policing AI outright. Our data protection authority ruled bias into inadequate after discovering Compass algorithm gave black defendants 45% higher resources than white defendants with identical profiles. OHCHR scheme confirms 82% of AI profiling targets fall into just two categories, race and Einstein mandated bias audits at every development stage plus civil society validation. Einstein yields.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate from yes, Delegate. Yes, Delegate. Delegate of France, you have the floor.
Algorithmic bias delegates is not a side effect of technology. It is discrimination scaled by code. When AI systems decide access to jobs, welfare or security, bias data turns inequality into policy without transparency or accountability. The UDHR is explicit. Article 2 guarantees rights without distinction and Article 7 affirms equality before the law. The ICCPR under Article 26 reinforces this by guaranteeing equal protection against discrimination. AI systems that systematically disadvantage certain groups directly violate these principles. France's position on this issue is clear and non-negotiable. Article 1 of the French Constitution states that France ensures equality before the law without a distinction of origin, race, or religion. Any AI system that produces discriminatory outcomes stands in direct contradiction to this constitutional obligation. The delegate of France suggests that this committee move beyond acknowledgement and focus on enforcement. France stresses the need for mandatory bias assessments before deployment of AI systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Bangladesh, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, as the topic also points out on discrimination, in Bangladesh we find discrimination against political parties, where Awami League, which has failed recently, and interim government has come into action. It was due to ban many websites like news websites and all, which was talking against it. So it is also a form of discrimination, it also fails to protect the right of information to all the people, as news websites deliver a lot of information. And on other discrimination, it is also discriminating the Rohingya refugees, which are demanding for statehood. And when it comes to algorithms, when everything is by AI or everything like loan lending and medical treatments and all are based on AI, not all data is collected in a right manner, and not everyone can get access to the internet. There are many people who don't live, especially Bangladesh.
Your time is up there.
Thank you.
Delegate of UK, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, when a machine decides who gets a job, who gets bail, or who gets flagged as a threat, that machine is no longer neutral, it is political. The UK rises today to confront an uncomfortable truth. AI is not biased by accident, it is biased by design, data, and denial. Discrimination, whether human or digital, must never be tolerated. Equality before the law must also mean equality before algorithm. UK firmly believes that if a system cannot explain its decisions, it should not be allowed to make one. Algorithmic systems increasingly influence decisions that directly affect human dignity, equality, and access to justice. Delegates, technology should challenge inequality, not preserve it in binary forms. If artificial intelligence decides our future, then human rights must write the algorithms. The question is not whether AI will shape society. It already does. The real question is will it shape
policies, tools in several countries that is appropriately targeted ethnical minorities. While automated hiring systems are included within marginalized groups, these outcomes violate equality before law. Germany emphasizes mandatory bias audits, diverse database, and independent monitoring to ensure AI systems comply with the international human rights obligations. Germany stresses that AI systems must operate with a legal framework, subject to proportionate tests, judicial authority, and democratic oversight. Because algorithmic bias is not a technical flaw, it's a human rights flaw.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Dominican Republic, you have the floor.
Honorable chairs and distinguished delegates, systems are not neutral. They reflect the data and assumptions on which they operate. The Dominican Republic is concerned that biased algorithms used in policing, border control, or public services can reinforce discrimination against minorities and vulnerable groups. Algorithm bias can silently reproduce inequality while appearing objective. We therefore call for mandatory bias testing, regular audits, and the use of diverse and representative data sets. Discrimination carried out by an algorithm is strict discrimination under international law. AI governance must ensure fairness, equal treatment, and meaningful human oversight in all decision-making process. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Yes, Delegate. Delegate of Belgium, you have the floor.
Esteemed delegates, when surveillance becomes permanent, freedom becomes temporary. Belgium recognizes the significant risk of bias and discrimination in algorithm decision making and supports legal framework to mitigate these harms. Belgium anti-discrimination law and the EU AI Act together aim to prevent discriminatory outcomes by high-risk AI systems. Belgium are being trained under a supported program to detect and prevent algorithmic discrimination, demonstrating Belgium's commitment to inclusive, non-discriminatory AI governance. Remember, if unity is our strength, biased algorithms are our weakness. AI must serve fairness, not division. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. As we will now be reverting back to GSL. We are looking, yes, Delegate. Yes, Delegate. Yes, Delegate of Iceland.
I would like to raise a motion for non-moderated caucus for 6 minutes duration.
First we'll go back to GSL, then we can look for more motions. Also, delegates, we will be taking up more points of information, alright, for each speech, so that we have more debate and discourse.
Yes,
before that, a few speakers for the GSL. Yes, delegate?
The delegate of Ethiopia wants to change their status from present and voting.
You can change that to vote. We will be taking the roll call. So, delegates who wish to be added to the GSL, please give your placards.
Delegate of High. Delegate of are you raising the placard? No, I'm already done with Delegate of Republic of Korea, you have been recognized. Delegate of Qatar, you have been recognized. Delegate of Chile, you have been recognized. Delegate of Gambia, you have been recognized. Delegate of Brazil, you have been recognized. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Iceland, you have been recognized. Delegate of Malawi, you have been recognized. Delegate of Dominican Republic, you have been recognized. Delegate of Albania, you have the floor for the next 60 seconds. 90 seconds.
Okay. You are done.
bom dia a todos. Eu sou o delegado do Brasil. Stand before this assembly with firm conviction. Technology must be instrument of liberation and development, not of oppression, or the erosion of human dignity. As we navigate the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, Brazil remains steadfast in freedom in the first victim of a world without rules. Artificial Intelligence Plan, Landmark AI Act of 2023, Bill 2338, reflects our commitment to a risk-based operation, the priorities, protection of fundamental rights. Brazil has three fundamental pillars to follow for the AI. First is human-centric governance. AI systems must be designed and deployed with humans at the center. We strictly oppose excessive risk systems, including those that manipulate human behavior or exploit vulnerabilities. Sovereignty and digital inclusion. As a global leader of developing South countries, AI must not become a new form of digital colonialism, as we have seen before as a colonialism. We advocate for an international framework that ensures equal access to technology while protecting data sovereignty for all the nations. In surveillance, Brazil calls for the UN to lead in the establish clear multilateral norms.
Can you please wrap it up?
Thank you.
Any points of information on the floor? Please, we strongly recommend you ask questions. You can mark down these delegates, please. Okay, from the next speech onwards, pay attention so that you can ask questions. Okay?
Delegate
Benny,
you have the floor.
Delegate Benny.
Okay. Delegate Italy, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, artificial intelligence is already a part of our everyday life. It helps us to move through cities, access service, and stay connected. Government uses it to keep people safe, and Italy understands that responsibility. But when AI is used for mass surveillance, it affects something very personal, how free people feel in their own society. Watch what they do, where they go, whom they meet, each and every daily life. For Italy, privacy is not optional, it is lawful and temporary, not both, permanent or unchecked. Italy believes in innovation, but not at the cost of our values. Technology should protect people, not monitor. Security and freedom must move forward together, not against each other. Italy urges this committee to ensure AI serves humanity and never replaces their rights that define it. Thank you.
Looking for points of information. Yes, Cheria.
When women and marginalized communities are misclassified by AI, did Italy take concrete action to prevent harm, or was it left unaddressed, especially considering how people in the south of Italy, in places like Naples or Sicily, are usually discriminated against?
Italy AI laws and regulations. We have framed our laws and regulations in 2025 for women and children about AI and mass surveillance. Italy recently passed a national AI law, the first law in the European Union with the EU's.
Delegate of Kuwait.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Delegate of Ethiopia has mentioned, if I am not wrong, that AI-powered services must be temporary and not permanent. Would like to question her to explain that this meaning behind it. Would you explain what you meant by the meaning of temporary AI surveillance and not permanent AI surveillance? What is the true reason behind it?
Can I answer the question?
I
I'd like to answer on behalf of
You can't answer behalf of everyone. You can finish. Keep all your questions ready for all other delegates, okay? You've been asking, but not really asking anything, okay? Delegate of UK.
Technology should serve human rights and not redefine their limits. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, we live in a world where algorithms know our faces before our neighbors do. Artificial intelligence is no longer knocking at the door of human rights. It has already entered the room and sat down. Delegates, a citizen who knows they are constantly being watched does not speak freely. They do not protest freely. They do not think freely. And a society that cannot think freely is already losing its human rights. The UK believes AI is not the enemy, unchecked AI is. Mass surveillance without accountability does not create security, it creates fear dressed up as safety. If AI is the future, then human rights must be its foundation. Otherwise, we are not building a smarter world, we are building a quieter one. Let me be very clear. Security cannot be built on fear and governance cannot be built on silence. The United Kingdom chooses accountability over control, rights over convenience, and humanity over unchecked power. The future will not judge us by how advanced our technology was, but by whether our humanity served it. Thank you.
Any points of information? Yes, delegate of Chile, followed by Czechia. Any more delegates, please? China, followed by India.
In the public scrutiny over facial recognition technologies, how does the delegate ensure that such tools do not produce discriminatory outcomes? In the light of public scrutiny over facial recognition technologies, how does the delegation ensure that such tools do not produce discriminatory outcomes? Okay. So to brief, so there is a facial recognition system which was organized by all countries' code in the context of public welfare scheme. So how do you justify or ensure that such tools do not produce discriminatory outcomes?
Where did I justify that these tools do not produce any discriminatory outcomes? Give me a statement where did I justify that they do not. I don't require that.
Use wrong word to justify. To reframe it, I want to say that how does the delegation ensure that the already deployed facial recognition systems do not produce discriminatory outcomes?
The UK is not questioning the right to security anywhere. The UK is not questioning the right to security anywhere.
Okay, delegate. Are you satisfied with your answer?
Okay, I'm not satisfied with your question.
Yes. It was a very vague question, okay, delegate. Next, delegate of Czechia. Thank you, delegate.
If there's anything, you can send it back to the delegate.
Yes, send it via email, please.
Your government disbanded the independent AI and data ethics advisory board, removing a key body meant to ensure responsible AI usage. Didn't that decision weaken governance and oversight? Your government disbanded the independent AI and data ethics advisory board, removing a key body meant to ensure responsible AI. Did that decision weaken governance and oversight?
Okay, delegate of China.
of UK is what is UK's policy for mass surveillance and how the government stands accountable in the recent growing years of AI? What are the policies for mass surveillance? How do you tackle it? How the UK policy is accountable?
Okay, delegate. Final question. If you can, please answer verbally. Okay, Faida. Delegate of India.
Good morning, delegate of the IIT Kenya. I was checking you. Okay, so you are endorsing about the human rights values. I just wanted to ask you one small question. Is this endorsement just for the people in London or Manchester? Like you might know about MI6, your own foreign intelligence agency, having part of the coup of Iran in 1953, and also was very much into in the Arab War, where it committed various human rights. So what do you have to say about that? Like, is it just for your people or for everyone? My question, my simple question is you are endorsing human rights. Is it just for your people or for the whole world? Because the way you are speaking is not, it's just the opposite of what your foreign intelligence is doing.
Okay. You can think, research, and send it via chat. Okay. Please send it via email so that we can read your answer.
You have all the questions, delegate of UK, you are aware of all the questions that have been asked to you? Or we can ask the...
Yes. Delegates who have raised the points of information, please send a chit so that you can answer. Okay? Delegate of Thailand.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, the Kingdom of Thailand believes that artificial intelligence is no longer a future concern, but a present reality affecting governance, public safety, and regulation. While AI offers significant benefits for development, its rapid growth raises human rights concerns, especially around privacy and accountability. Thailand recognizes that surveillance technologies and AI-driven systems, if used without proper oversight, can undermine public trust. At the same time, states have a responsibility to ensure national security, prevent cybercrime, and maintain public order. The challenge before this council, therefore, is not whether AI should be used, but how it can be governed responsibly and transparently. In this regard, Thailand has implemented the Personal Data Protection Act in 2022 and the National Intelligence Strategy 2022 to 27, promoting ethical, human-centric, and accountable use of AI across sectors. Thailand acknowledges that technological innovation often develops faster than legal frameworks, requiring to remain adaptive to uphold human rights in both law and practice. In Thailand supports international cooperation on ethical AI governance, transparency standards, and accountability mechanisms, while respecting national legal systems and domestic regulatory frameworks. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Left with 17 seconds, so we take 2 points of information. Delegates, any questions?
Yes, delegate.
How does Thailand justify its continued use of, sorry for pronunciation mistake, Majestic laws, Article 1 and 2, which severely restricts their freedom of expression while committing to UNHRC principles? Do you want me to repeat?
Yes.
How does Thailand justify its continued use of, sorry for the pronunciation, Majesty laws, Article 112, which severely restricts freedom of expression while committing to UNHRC principles?
Yes, Delegate?
Point of parliamentary inquiry. The delegate of Thailand would like to give
Delegate will get to the GSL. It will take more minutes to go. Delegate of?
Benin.
Your name has been added
global basis through its ongoing AI renaissance, the Republic of Korea is investing all its resources to approach AI from a position of both technological advancement and heightened responsibility, which is reshaping all sectors of our country. As one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world, we recognize the threats that the misuse of AI poses to privacy, equality, and fair judgment. We firmly believe in taking accountability of this to protect our citizens' rights, which cannot be compromised in the name of safety or advancement. As our AI sector grows each year, and eventually plans to include a national AI computing center and a 15-fold increase in the GPU capacity, in order to do so sustainably and ethically, we have adopted the AI Basic Act, which establishes the government as the one responsible for AI risk and not the algorithm itself. Korea AI needs more government responsibility and not compromise human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. You have 32 seconds remaining. How would you like to use your time?
Yeah, any points of information? Belgium is followed by Cuba.
This is for the delegation of Republic of Korea. Given the United Nations human rights findings on pervasive surveillance and restriction on civil liberties, can the Republic of Korea clarify how its national security are compatible with obligations under the ICCPR and ECHR to respect privacy, due process, and freedom of expression?
Can I answer that?
And delegates, we request you to keep your questions concise.
Keep it simple,
Yes.
concise. Thank you. Yes, delegate.
So the delegate mentioned that in the speech that the Korea will be creating a national AI center. So how do you justify that? You're saying that it's for the people, the delegation center is for the people of the Korea, for the public. But it can also have some environmental problems. And you also mentioned, the delegation also mentioned about the ecological advancements. So how do you justify that?
Technological advancements, not ecological
Okay.
advancements. And the AI center is basically meant to facilitate research into protection of AI and to ensure that it's being done ethically. That's the whole point, to ensure that scientists who are coming up with new AI systems use it sustainably to work on the loopholes and prevent misuses.
Can I ask a follow-up?
No follow-ups. Via treatment. Thank you, delegate. Alright, before we move to the next speaker,
Delegate of Kuwait.
The delegate of Kuwait will motion and unmoderated caucus
okay. See, we are going to break for lunch at 1:30. So before that, we are looking for a moderated caucus of just 10 minutes. Any motions on the floor? You can ask for an extension once we reconvene. Yes, delegate.
motion for an moderated caucus on data protection frameworks and cross-border exports for 15 minutes with 60 seconds per speaker.
First speaker? 60 seconds.
60 seconds per speaker.
Any other thoughts? Yes, delegate.
Delegate of Germany would like to request for a moderated caucus of 10 minutes on the topic human rights impact assessment before AI surveillance deployment, with each speaker getting 45 minutes. Total time 10 minutes.
1 second, delegate. Delegate, that's not divisible, so you have to give either 60 or something that's divisible.
Yes, delegate of France.
The delegate of France would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and move on to a moderated caucus on the topic balancing national security imperatives with human rights obligations, with total time of 10 minutes and individual speaker time 60 seconds.
Delegate of Japan?
the delegate of Japan has raised a motion for a moderated caucus on the topic accountability mechanisms and access to remedies for AI-related human rights violations. With 60 seconds per speaker for 20 minutes.
20 minutes? 60 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, so first we have to vote upon the moderated topic given by delegate of Japan. For 20 minutes, 60 seconds, please repeat the topic, delegate.
Delegates, please pay attention.
Please pay attention, delegates, because you have to vote for it.
The accountability mechanisms and access to remedies for AI-related human rights violations.
All the delegates for the motion. Delegates, please pay attention. All the delegates for the motion.
The motion fails. Next, delegate of Kuwait. Please, repeat your topic.
Data protection frameworks and cross-border data.
All the delegates for the motion. The motion fails.
All the delegates against the motion. Next, we have the motion raised by Germany. Can you repeat it?
Human rights impact assessment prior to deployment of AI surveillance system.
A total time of 10 minutes with each speaker in 60 seconds. All the delegates for the motion. All the delegates against? It fails. Next, the moderated topic given by delegate of France.
Balancing national security imperatives with human rights obligations.
Total time of 10 minutes, each speaker getting 60 seconds. All the delegates for the motion. This motion passes. Delegates wishing to add their name to the moderated topic, please. France. Delegate, please.
Germany, you have been recognized. India, you have been recognized. Indonesia, you have been recognized. Japan, you have been recognized. Iceland, Slovenia, Egypt, you have been recognized. Mauritius, you have been recognized. Chile, you have been recognized. Thank you very much.
Delegate France, you have the floor for the next 60 seconds.
When we talk about national security, we often speak in terms of threats, systems, and technology. But at the center of the discussion are people, ordinary citizens, whose data movements and decisions are increasingly shaped by algorithms they cannot see or control. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Article 12 is clear that no one should be subjected to arbitrary interference with their privacy. Yet, the rapid use of AI in security without transparency risks turning protection into intrusion. UNESCO's report on safeguarding human rights warns that when algorithms operate without human oversight, accountability is weakened and trust in institutions erodes. France believes that the solution is not to abandon security, but to govern it responsibly. The delegate of France suggests the creation of independent monitoring bodies for data collection and AI use, similar to France's CNI. Such bodies would oversee how data is collected, stored, and ensure transparency, and allow people to challenge unfair use of security.
Germany.
Delegates pay attention to speeches given during mobs. Okay, you will frame your questions based on this content as well. Okay? Yes, Emily, go ahead.
Honorable Chair, Germany acknowledges the legitimate security concerns faced by the state. However, national security can't justify unchecked AI surveillance. Predictive policies and mass data collection have in multiple countries led to profiling and suppression of lawful dissent. Germany's own historical experience demonstrates the danger of excessive state monitoring. Therefore, Germany stresses that AI systems must operate with a clear legal framework, subject to proportional tests, judicial authority, and security achieved at expense of the rights of either sustainable nor legitimate.
Delegate, you have 20 seconds remaining. You want to continue? It's a bond. Okay, is anyone interested in asking? Delegate, although this is not usually entertained, but it's fine.
I'm so sorry, Chair.
Delegate, can you speak using the mic?
I requested to repeat my mock topic.
Do you have a question, Delegate of History?
If you don't, it's okay.
It's okay, I lost my question. I'll find it later.
Okay. Yes, Delegate of Kuwait.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of India.
India, that is Bharat, has always been an advocate for a balanced approach over polarization. And therefore, India believes that national security and human rights are not competing goals, but rather a complementary responsibilities. In an era of AI-driven and mass surveillance technologies, the challenge before this council is not whether states may use such AI technologies, but how they use them. India acknowledges that surveillance can be a legitimate instrument to counter-terrorism, cyber threats, and transnational crime. However, as reaffirmed by the Article 17 of the ICCPR and Article 12 of the UDHR, any interference with privacy must be lawful and necessary. Therefore, India calls for a rights-based approach to surveillance, one that safeguards citizens while preserving the very liberties that define the democratic societies. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Indonesia.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, the delegation of Indonesia recognizes that artificial intelligence can be a valuable tool in safeguarding national security. However, security measures must never come at the cost of fundamental human rights. Indonesia believes that national security and human rights are not competing goals but complementary responsibilities. AI-based surveillance must be guided by legality, necessity, and proportionality. Clear legal frameworks and independent oversight mechanisms are essential to prevent misuse and overreach. By embedding human rights safeguards into security strategies, states can ensure public trust while effectively addressing legitimate threats. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Japan.
Honorable Chair, Japan acknowledges the potential of AI to enhance national security, such as improving cybersecurity, defenses, disaster prediction, and border monitoring. But at the same time, it also understands the risks of the same. Japan's policy is rooted in its Society 5.0 vision, creating an environment that ensures the safety and security of its citizens and realizes a society where diverse happiness can be achieved for every individual. The use of intrusive AI is naturally unacceptable as it threatens public safety and security. Similarly, unfair bias hinders the realization of individual happiness and is therefore also prohibited. Undesirable AI applications will be addressed using Japan's existing laws and regulations. Our objective remains clear and consistent: to establish a robust framework that individual rights and freedoms while charting a path towards a desirable future society.
Thank you, Leslie. Delegate of Iceland.
Thank you, Chair. Iceland categorizes its national security as a pretext for mass surveillance. Our Data Protection Act number 19/2018 explicitly bans biometric criminal databases even for counter-terrorism because China's 626 million cameras systematically profile Ukraine while Russia's SORM systems intercept all internet traffic. ICCPR Article 17 demands three tests: lawful aim, strict necessity, proportionality. Iceland National Security Strategy emphasizes intelligence. Iceland National Security Strategy emphasizes intelligence cooperation and not citizen spy. Security protects human rights, never destroys them. Iceland views.
Delegate, you have 15 seconds. Do you want to continue?
I would like to.
Okay, we'll take one point of information. Although this is not procedural, but okay. Any points of information? None. Give me a second. Delegate of Slovenia.
Honorable Chair, security without rights is a prison. Rights without security are a fragile illusion. We reject the false binary that suggests we must choose between public safety and personal privacy. We can and must have both. The 2023 report by the Special Rapporteur on Counterterrorism warns that dual-use AI surveillance is often deployed under vague national security exceptions to suppress legitimate dissent. We have seen greater policing tools originally designed for counter-terrorism repurposed to track peaceful protesters in multiple regions. While violating Article 21 of the ICCPR, the national security becomes the planned check for aggravated overreach, we dismantle the very democratic values we claim to defend. Slovenia champions the necessity and proportionality test for all security algorithms. As a host to UNESCO's ISCAI, we advocate for technical safeguards that automatically limit data, retention and scope, ensuring surveillance is the exception, not the rule. We propose a security algorithm system.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Egypt.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Egypt believes that national security is a legitimate and essential state responsibility and are mutually reinforcing with the human rights. Surveillance can be lawful when conducted with domestic legal frameworks like counter-terrorism and public safety. Egypt faces terrorism and cyber threats very often and must be granted contextual flexibility. Although human rights must be protected, but security threats cannot be ignored. Egypt supports proportional and lawful surveillance, not blanket bans, and believes without security, no human rights can be fully realized. Thank you.
Delegate, you are left with 20 seconds. Do you want to continue? Any points of information? Yes, Delegate of Chile.
Okay, the Honorable Delegate of Egypt, can you please tell what independent oversight mechanisms exist to review the use of AI in national security operations?
Right now, as Egypt actually faces a lot of national threats, and we believe that we need to have contextual flexibility and not bans completely. For further thing, I will be answering through chat.
Thank you.
Delegate of Mauritius.
Honorable Chair and Delegate, Republic of Mauritius recognizes that national security is a legitimate responsibility of the state. However, in accordance with Article 12 of UDHR and Article 17 of ICCPR, security measures must not interfere with fundamental human rights and right to privacy. Mauritius believes if AI surveillance remains unchecked, it undermines public trust. The need, therefore, isn't to reject technology, but to regulate through legality. The effects of failing to balance security and human rights include chilling effects on right to expression and marginalization of communities. The surveillance must be lawful, proportionate, and necessary. Security and human rights must coexist and not conflict.
Thank you. Delegate of Chile.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable distinguished delegates. The delegation of Chile recognizes that the state has legitimate national security responsibilities. However, under international human rights law, including Article 17 of the ICCPR, any interference with the right to privacy must meet the standards of legality, necessity, and proportionality, and must be subject to effective oversight. Chile notes that growing use of AI-enabled predictive tools in security and law enforcement raises concern when actions are based on probabilistic assessments rather than individualized suspicions. Without a clear legal basis, judicial authorization and independent review, such measures risk becoming arbitrary and undermining fundamental rights. Thank you.
Delegate, you left for 15 seconds. You wish to continue.
The time to the point of interest.
Any questions on the floor? So we are done with the small delegates. Please keep your position papers ready. The volunteers will collect it, and then we'll be looking for a motion to suspend to the launch. Okay. Delegates, please maintain silence.
Yes, delegate of Republic. Okay, just
Let us see if we have the total count.
We hope all the delegates have submitted their position papers. Okay. Delegates, make sure you submit all your position paper by the end of the week.
Delegates, we're looking for a motion to suspend the meeting to break to lunch. Delegate Sonia.
The delegate of Colonia would like to propose a motion to suspend the formal debate and move towards
That will just suspend the meeting and break to lunch.
That motion is in order.
Delegates for the motion.
Delegates, please make sure that you're back on.
Delegates, please go to 402 for lunch. It's upstairs.
Delegates, be back by 2:30 the voting.
402. The volunteers will guide you to 402 for lunch. Guys, move to 402.
Live आपाली.
अरे सीट पे चार्जर है क्या?